Pregnancy and Infant Loss Remembrance Day. Tonight, families will gather in Maple Park Cemetery to remember those they have lost. The Springfield Wave of Light is an evening to honor families who have lost a child through miscarriage, stillbirth, or other conditions. The evening is put together by nurses to help families process the loss of a child. Organizers say finding a community can help people through their grief.
I think it's really important to know that you're never alone. There's a lot of people out there that have experienced a loss. It's much more common than people realize. So this kind of gives us a way to bring people together and to grieve together where they have that in common.
The Springfield Wave of Light will take place at Maple Park Cemetery at 6:45 tonight.